Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey, Phoebe, I'm feeling this bow tie.
Oh, wait,
So
thank you.
much.
That's amazing. So with so much going on in the world right now, 2020 has been insane. I felt like when I watched the show, I was swept in a different time, and it was a great distraction for me. So for you, Phoebe, what was it like filming on such an amazing? It looked like an amazing set for this historical timepiece set in London.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience. And it's sort of like, it's not a world that we know, I think, either. It's a totally reimagined Regency England like we haven't seen before. So everything was so, over the top, being on those incredible sets and incredible locations. We filmed like all over England and all these castles and old houses. I mean, it was really mega. And then of course the costumes, which were all handmade, and I sort of had over 100 dresses, which I'm pretty sure is every girl's dream, or at least it was mine when I was 11. So it was really a dream. And then what turned out to be my favorite aspect is learning all those incredible dances with reggae. I mean, we both got to really step into the shoes and do a bit of dancing and to modern music as well. I mean, most of the dances were like to Stormzy or Plan B that we rehearsed with. So that was so fun. Yeah, the whole thing.
Watch it from the music, everything seems so modern. But for reggae, for you, from like the clothing and the language and the dancing, and for you, the boxing and the fighting, where do you pull from for your character? Because that was a lot for you, I feel like.
I mean, that's the joy. You pull from everywhere. Everything is the same thing. When people talk about doing research for characters, it pulls up this idea of going to a library and being very studious. But physical language is research. Etiquette lessons are research. Dance lessons are research. Boxing, riding, fencing, all of this changes how you communicate with people. It's all character work. How you bow will change depending on what your body language is, which changes depending on the dances you're doing, which changes depending on whether you horse ride or whether you box or whether you fence. And so all of this is character work. And I was lucky enough that it all kind of fell in organically because we were so thoroughly drilled in this stuff. They had me going full Rocky. I was up at 5 a.m. every morning. I was jogging down to the gym. A horrible man yelled at me for an hour, and I came home and got into costume, and then the rest kind of happened by itself,
It looks great, but like Phoebe said, I felt for the girls because there were so many tight corsets, and I'm like, bless their hearts. This is amazing. Phoebe, for you, I felt like in this show, there's so many great, powerful women on this show, and so many great women characters. And this is a time when women are told what to do. You can't read, you can't go anywhere, but you see all these different characters, some of them pretty much standing up for themselves. So why is this piece really an important piece for people to see? Because I loved every single thing about it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think obviously a lot's changed. I'm so thankful that we don't have to parade on a marriage mart anymore. Thank God for that. But I think there are still parallels, especially with sort of the tabloid-esque way of sort of particularly women celebrities and how we sort of tear them down. And there's a lot of parallels with what we still go through as a society today, and we're still dealing with. So I think there's a lot of relatable moments in there, and Daphne, she very much has, she's sort of putting on this filter, isn't she? Almost like Instagram, and then behind the scenes, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. So I think there's just so many parallels that you can relate to, even though we're not having to deal with sort of the trauma that they did in a way.
Yeah, it was amazing, but thank you so much. Congratulations on the amazing show. I can't wait for the rest of the audience to see it, because I was watching and I'm like, this is where I need to be. This is amazing. So thank you guys again, and congratulations on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Me too.
Where is the buzz?
Is it right? Is it the bee at Bridgerton? There's like that little bumblebee that seems to be everywhere. Maybe that's the buzz.
It's the bumblebee that's been on the wall getting all this juicy gossip that's going on in Bridgerton.
Yeah. Feeding off it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Watching this show, I felt like I was swept away in a different time because there's so much going on in the world right now, and I needed this distraction. So for you, what was it like being on such it looked like an amazing set, like being swept into like this historic show based out in London?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I've never, I've done sort of different periods, but there's something about the Regency period, which is just so innately sexy. The tailoring for the men, the women, the corsets, the sense of presentation. in society aesthetically is just amazing. And then you get to then play characters that, because of that need to be presented as one thing, you get to show the vulnerabilities and the sort of like psychological effects of that. And at the same time have a great rompy time doing it, because it's just so fun and witty and naughty and you know, romantic. And I think you're right. I think at the end of 2020, all we need is a holiday to the 19th century with a sweet lover. And you know, in Bridgerton, I think you can have any of the lovers that you choose, because there's a lot of love going around.
That's how I felt. I was like, yes, I like this one. I like this
I'll have
one.
a bit of that one and that one. Not so much Anthony.
Well, your character was living his best life and having a grand old time, but also being the big brother and doing what he had to do. So for you, with like the costumes and the dances and the movies, the music and the food, and getting into character, where did you pull from for your character? Because he was a very special character. There was times where I was upset at him, but then there was times I was like, I get it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but that's it. And I think I sort of went, yeah, I love him. I get it. And I've got his back. And I, you know, obviously, hopefully, because there's been 8 books, we sort of know that there's scope for it to continue. But, you know, I want to look after him. And in looking after him, we need to show how badly he gets things wrong, and how much hurt he causes. And he causes himself so much hurt. I think he's like really anxious. And, you know, if from a 2020 perspective, you could get a therapist to sit down with him, there's a lot going on, and he is traumatized. I think he's got PTSD from various different things. And, you know, he's lost his dad. So he's a surrogate father to his siblings and a surrogate husband to his mum. And the pressures that come with that are kind of unfathomable. But, you know, still, there's no comparison to the pressures that the women feel and face. And I think that's also something that I'm hoping that gets developed, is that I think he's got this sense that, you know, it just doesn't work for either men or women. And I think he really does care for his sisters. And I think that's the thing that got me through it.
No, he definitely does. And I think as I was watching it, I'm like, I love him. I really do. And I know you did such a great job as doing this thing where you are playing the big brother. So it does come off like, oh, big brother role, but you start to love him and you're like, I see where he's coming from, because he's going through a lot. Well, this is coming out on Christmas. And I felt like this is going to be the perfect holiday movie because we need a break. Why do you think a show like this is very important for like the audience right now and today?
Yeah, I think pure escapism is key, right? And I think we all just I think there's nothing better than love and a really rich, tasty, delicious aesthetic to see, you know, from behind your mask in 2020. But yeah, also Christmas is all about love, isn't it? It's all about family. And it's all about, you know, I think I'm from quite a big family, and I think every year you sort of sit there when you've, you know, had too much to drink and you've finished the turkey and you've got a mince pie in your hand, and you kind of just think, what has happened in the last year? And you think about all the ways in which your family have moved forward and all their life experiences. And hopefully every season will be that same review of the year for the Bridgertons, because you'll get to touch base with them going forward. And there's so much that happens in life, isn't there? And I think in this season, for the whole family, it's bonkers how much happens to them, and you know, they're resilient and they've got each other, and I think they're a good tribe, and I think that's what Christmas is all about, celebrating.
Yeah, it's a great show. I love it. I can't wait for the rest of the audience to see this, because it was something that I truly enjoyed, because I love period pieces. So congratulations to you, congratulations to the whole cast.
Thank you.
Happy
I'm
holidays.
so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, I really
Happy holidays
did.
to you.
Thank you so much, Johnny. Thank you, everybody.
To you.
Thank you. So first of all, with so much going on in this world and everything happening in 2020, I felt like when I watched the show, I was swept away in a whole different time, in a whole different world. So for you, what was it like for you working on a set of a historical, I guess, series set in London?
You know what? It was really magical, genuinely, because the production design on this show is next level. It was seeing people that were so incredible at their jobs, from set design to hair and makeup to the costume designers, just having free reign to create magic. And then you walk onto the set and everyone's dressed so beautifully, and there's the wigs and the tiaras, and we had aerial dancers in, you know, one episode. It's like you feel like a kid playing dress up. It's properly magic.
Yeah, it was so awesome. And I was watching and I'm like, the ladies in the tight corsets, I felt so bad for everyone, but it looked so beautiful. So getting into character, speaking the language, the dances, and living this life. How did you tap in for your character? Because I absolutely loved your character.
Oh,
I like
thank
felt for
you.
her every episode. I'm like, no.
I know, you just want good things to happen to her, and she has such a tough time. I think I was very lucky. Like, first off, the scripts are in any show are your Bible, and when you have scripts this good, it makes your job very, very easy. And also, on top of the scripts, you have these 8 Bridgerton books that Julia Quinn wrote. So it was like, you know, having that extra secret bit of information that, you know, really helped you round out the character. And then, you know, we had amazing directors on the show, and when you have, you know, Shondaland behind you making stuff, you couldn't be more supported. So yeah, I just loved it.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Every episode, your character was like, got the way. I love her so much. So we have this thing with right now we have social media, we have blogs, we have like a TMZ world, and the time that you guys are in is kind of like an 1800s gossip mag. I know some people are quoted to say like an 1800s gossip girl. So if you can pick one time, would you pick today, 2020, with social media comments, or would you pick back then where it was just, you know, a magazine going around and lady whistle down, spilling the good gossip?
Well, I suppose back then you weren't at much risk of being gossip unless you were like proper, you know, high society. And if I go back in my family tree, I absolutely would not have been within high society. But I don't know. There's pluses and minuses to each, right? So you have nowadays, and I mean, young people growing up under social media, which I didn't. I just about escaped that. But that is such intense pressure. And then you look back at that time, and you know, you had to literally walk in front of the Queen, like this goddess, Queen Charlotte, who was going to absolutely read you for filth if you got something wrong. And that's terrifying. But I don't know. I think I'd probably do better nowadays because I'm horribly addicted to my phone. I know it's not good to admit it, but I am. I'm a scroller. Like, what can I say?
I'm the exact same way. I cannot stay off my phone. But this lovely television show comes out on Christmas. So what is so different about this show? Why should the audience tune in?
I think people love period dramas, but this is not a period drama like you know it. Because when you think about Shondaland and period drama meeting, the things that people love about Shonda's shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder is that they're really sexy, they're dangerous, they're funny, they have really complex female characters who are not likable all the time. They are champions of diversity. They represent queer characters on screen. All of that is in Bridgerton. So it's not like, you know, it's not Pride and Prejudice. It's a totally different world. And the music is epic. The costumes are beautiful. It's a period drama in Technicolor. It's not lovely shades of grays and browns. It is full color.
It was absolutely amazing. I listened to the music. I'm like, is that Ariana Grande that I'm hearing?
I know. I had the same reaction. I was like, I know that song. And I was like, I don't know string quartet music. It's Ariana. So
well, lovely. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the brand new show. And I'm excited for the fans to see it because I absolutely loved it.
That means so much. Thank you, honestly. It was so nice to speak to you. And beautiful necklace.
Thank you so much. You're gorgeous. Thank you.
Oh, no, so do you. Thank you so much. And happy holidays.
Happy
December,
holidays.
you can say it.